Later this month, EU leaders are due to meet to discuss relations with Turkey, and the decisions they make then could affect how the two sides view each other for years to come. Issues that are likely to be on the table include Turkey's EU membership bid, the 2016 refugee deal, the East Mediterranean and sanctions. I'm Andrew Hopkins, and I've been speaking to the Turkish Deputy Foreign Minister and Director of EU Affairs, Faruk Kaymakci, one-on-one. Deputy Foreign Minister, thank you for talking to TRT World. At the end of this month, there's going to be an EU summit in which the European leaders are going to discuss relations with Turkey, and it seems like they're going to discuss a whole range of subjects such as Turkey's EU membership bid, the East Mediterranean refugees. What do you expect to come out of this meeting?
Thank you, Andrew. Welcome to the Directorate for EU Affairs. As you mentioned, the European Council will discuss EU's relations with Turkey on the 26th and 26th of March. And of course, in December last year, the European Council decided that they should try to provide some sort of positive agenda to Turkey-EU relations. And since then, I think there is a positive environment. At least there are no hostile statements against each other from the Turkish or EU side. And then when we look at relations with Greece, so some talks are ongoing. Even today, we have some talks in Athens. And in terms of Eastern Mediterranean Conference, to see what we can do all together, in the EastMed is on the table. So President Erdogan made this proposal, and we hope that this can yield results in the future. And also in terms of relations, in terms of the Cyprus issue, now 3 guarantor states and 2 parties on the island of Cyprus, on the proposal of Turkey, they decided to meet in Geneva at the end of April. And France lately, was taking rather different approach towards Turkey. But also in the last few months, we had some formal talks with France, some consultations, and also President Macron and President Erdogan, they had talks. So these relations are also, I believe, on the positive line. So of course, it would have been much better to have the informal Cyprus talks before the European Council. But since this meeting will take place now at the end of April, so we will see. But my reading is that the word of sanctions and the word of threat against any candidate country or against any European country does not solve any problems in our continent of Europe. So I am hopeful that in March, EU will already consider some positive steps.
So if you're talking about maybe something concrete coming out of the meeting of the EU leaders late this month, are you looking for, or you say could be likely, could be something to do with the refugee deal? Because there's been a lot of talk there should be a roadmap for Turkey-EU relations in future instead of this backwards and forwards and disagreement. So is this what you think is most likely to come out of those talks?
Well, I mean, EU proposed a positive agenda if the developments are positive. So we believe that the developments are quite positive. And when we mean, when we say positive agenda, what we mean is very clear. I mean, the parameters of the positive agenda are already in the 18 March statement. 18 March statement is not only about migration. Migration is migration management, cooperation, if we like, is only one of the 6 dimensions in Turkey-EU relations. But 18 March 2016 statement envisaged acceleration of accession negotiations of Turkey to the EU, update of the customs union, negotiations should start immediately, Turkey and EU should have summits and dialogue meetings regularly, and there should be a better cooperation in terms of counterterrorism, and also there should be a readmission agreement between Turkey and the EU, which is connected to visa liberalization. So when 72 benchmarks are met fully, Turkish citizens should be able to travel into Schengen zone without visa. Then, of course, the sixth dimension is migration cooperation. So I think migration cooperation until February 2020 worked quite well, despite the fact that EU has not entirely fulfilled its obligations. So what we are hoping in the future, that we should have some sort of guidelines, roadmap, which should include all these parameters, but also maybe we should include our cooperation in terms of fighting COVID pandemic, and also new generation EU programs. As a candidate country, Turkey should be able to join more EU programs with some support and with some flexibility. So this will be our expectations. But in terms of migration deal, EU gave 4 promises. And out of 4, let's check what the EU has been able to do, so far. In terms of one-to-one deal, EU has taken, one Syrian from Turkey for one person that Turkey has readmitted from the Greek islands. So I think to this effect, if you look at the numbers, Turkey has received so far around 2,200 from the Greek islands. And EU has taken more than 28,000. But of course, these numbers are not too big. If you compare 3.7 million Syrians in Turkey, plus we have 500,000 other Asians coming mostly from Pakistan, Afghanistan and Bangladesh. So we have a huge number, but nevertheless EU kept its promise in terms of one-to-one deal. The second promise by the EU was about these 6 billion euros, by the way, not to be given to Turkey. This money is for the Syrians in Turkey. So there, EU, of course, maybe this is the fastest flow of funds in the EU system, but for us, we find it quite slow, quite bureaucratic, and this money is not sufficient. Because in 2016, when we had the 18 March statement, we had only 2 million people, 2 million Syrians. Today, 3.7 million, plus 500,000 others. So this 6 billion, if we look at it, it has been completely contracted. I think around, 4 billion euros were dispersed from the EU pocket, but the actual money which is spent or which reached the Syrians is still 3.6 billion euros. So we want these funds to be accelerated, but also to be increased. Because after Freed 2, what will happen? So the number of refugees is not decreasing, but on the contrary, it is increasing. The other pledge by the EU was the voluntary humanitarian admission scheme. And this scheme, was supposed to take Syrians from Turkey voluntarily by the member states. But unfortunately, this scheme was also, blocked by the EU side. It is important. Why? Because, the migration deal of the 18 March statement gave the following message. Syrians, don't go illegally to the Greek islands. If you go illegally, you will be returned automatically. And if you stay temporarily in Turkey, EU will help you, but also there will be a legal way to go to the rest of Europe. And that legal way was the voluntary humanitarian admission scheme. But this scheme was not put into practice. I think also in terms of the legality of the deal, this scheme is an important thing. The fourth commitment by the EU was to cooperate with Turkey in northern Syria, to have joint activities, to enable better humanitarian conditions, and also to enable safe returns to northern Syria. but since 2016, EU did nothing with Turkey. Plus, EU criticized Turkey heavily when we had to organize some operations in northern Syria, and especially in the last operation that we had, some EU member states even went even that far to impose some sort of arms embargo against a NATO ally, against a European candidate country, which is, by the way, not only defending the borders of Europe and borders of itself, but it's also, Turkey is also defending the borders of Europe and NATO. So for us, it was some sort of, shock. And this is why from 28 February on, Turkey decided to look at the 18 March statement from a different point of view, taking into account the huge number of the refugees in Turkey, but also, unfulfilled commitments by the EU. So this is why on the 9th of March 2020, EU leaders invited President Erdogan to Brussels to renew the 18 March statement. So this is our expectation that we can renew the 18 March statement, but we have to take into account all the 6 dimensions, because we are not in favor of a transactional relation with the EU. Our perspective is membership. Of course, we are not asking for full membership without fulfilling the membership conditions, but at least we should be treated fairly like the other candidate countries, and our accession perspective should be strengthened, and people should not see that update of the customs union is a favor to Turkey. It's a win-win deal. So we are asking for the update of the customs union, but this is necessary, this is useful, for all sides. It is not only a benefit to Turkey. So we hope that, in the migration part of a new deal, we would like to take into account the new challenges that we have. I have mentioned some of them. One is that the new deal should also address the question of non-Syrians coming from other Asian countries. So because their number has increased, we should also cooperate not only on Turkish-Syrian border, but also Turkish-Iranian border, because most of the Asians are coming through the Iranian border. And of course, the future financial cooperation in terms of facility for refugees in Turkey, Turkish authorities and host communities and local authorities should be involved more, because we cannot decide in Ankara or in Brussels what to do in Kilis, in Hatay or in Edirne. So I think we need to involve the local authorities. Also, we are asking the EU side that in the new deal we have to cooperate seriously in northern Syria. And actually this was the turning point in terms of the implementation of the migration dimension of the 18 March statement, because I think our cooperation is a must. Thanks to the 3 operations that we had in northern Syria, we have liberated a huge area. And now more than 425,000 Syrians, by the way, some of them are Syrian Kurds, they have gone back to their villages. But also the new migration deal should make a very clear point. Actually, it's already in the 18 March statement that no pushbacks should be allowed. In the last 4 years, unfortunately, we have seen 80,000 pushbacks from our Greek neighbors. Many people lost their lives in the sea, and the pushbacks cannot be tolerated. So we hope that this will stop immediately.
Now, you've told me in the deal of 2016 what things have not been working so far, which conditions have not been applied so far. But what would you like to see introduced which would be brand new to that deal? Can you outline that to me?
Brand new, I don't think that we need anything brand new, because Turkey-EU relations are very much structured. We have even the association, council. Actually, Turkey is already an associate member of the European Union. Turkey is also part of the Turkey-EU customs union. So we don't need anything new. You know, the 6 parameters that I have mentioned are the fundamentals of Turkey-EU relations. So, of course, we can put focus on the EU programs, next generation EU programs, but also this is up to Turkey because there is entry tickets to participate in the programs. For example, the UK decided not to be part of some of the EU programs, although they are entitled to do so. Again, I mean, it also depends on us. So new elements, I mean, in the migration deal, I mentioned the new points that we have to address in the new deal. But otherwise, of course, we would like to see increased, you know, funding in terms of Turkey's pre-accession assistance, you know, IPA funds, which are given to the candidate countries. So now we are entering the IPA 3 period. Unfortunately, during IPA 2 period, EU has reduced, you know, IPA funds to Turkey. So we hope that in IPA 3 period, Turkey should be able to have, you know, enough IPA funds because Turkey, you know, has the absorption capacity. Turkey has a lot of experience. Actually, we have been the longest waiting candidate country. You know, I mean, you can see this is a full-fledged institution, the Directorate for EU Affairs, with around 470 staff. So we established this institution as if Turkey is a member of the EU. So we have 3 departments dealing with the accession negotiations. We have 1 department dealing with reforms, and we have 1 department dealing with communication, and we have, you know, also 4 departments dealing with financial cooperation and EU programs. So I mean, so we have the background, we have the capacity, but we should see a sincere and fair approach from the EU side to treat Turkey as a candidate country. And I think we have seen the good days. So for example, from 1999 until 2005, even until 2009, we had excellent relations with the EU. Turkey was contributing more than many of the EU member states to European security and defense policy missions. Turkey was helping to address the energy security challenge of the EU more than any of the member states. So economically, you know, Turkey is the 5th biggest trade partner of the EU bloc. And so these are there, and this is why we are saying that despite the fact that the Turkish accession to the EU is the most questioned one, the most difficult one, and the most challenged one, but when it will happen, it will be the most ever useful, you know, membership of the past and the future when it happens, because no other country can contribute to the EU than Turkey in terms of energy security, in terms of trade, investment, security, defense, regional policies, climate change, and all of the aspects. So this is why this process is a bit painful and it takes a bit longer than we hoped. But Turkey is committed to the process, and we hope that when we do the right things, we will create a full convergence to the benefits of all, to the benefits of Turkey and also the rest of Europe, but also beyond. And this is why I say Turkey's EU membership is not only win-win case, but it is 3-win. Turkey, the EU, and beyond will win.
I just wanted to ask you about a couple of things relating to the EU summit again that's coming up at the end of the month. It seems that there's a more positive atmosphere now. Things have quietened down in the East Mediterranean. So do you think the issue of sanctions is now off the table?
For us, you know, unfortunately, I mean, Turkey's EU membership process has been sanctioned from the very beginning. And we have clearly seen that the sanction approach and the threat of sanction does not solve any problem. Did we solve the Cyprus problem? Did we improve Turkey-Greece relations thanks to threats and sanctions? No. So we don't want to talk about sanctions because they are not useful, they will not solve any problem. And we want to talk about positive agenda. So we are doing our best. We have been doing actually our best, but we also realize that now also other European friends realize that this sanction approach, this conflictual look towards Turkey is not helpful to anyone. So let's try the positive agenda. Let's have a constructive approach. I think the result will be positive. So from our point of view, the situation is very clear. I mean, the EU will either follow, the irrationalist, maximalist position of, some of its member states at the cost of, pushing Turkey away from the European integration or from the rest of Europe. But we will bear all the consequences together. And these consequences will be quite heavy, I think, for everyone. And the second option is, try to create a positive agenda where we can, go gradually, step by step. And through the spillover effect, we can improve our cooperation, which can lead up to accession. So this is our expectation, because I think through accession perspective, through the feeling of belonging to club, I think we can solve, problems, easier than otherwise. So this is why I think the constructive approach should be displayed by the EU. And we have seen this in the case of Eastern European countries, Central European countries. And now we see also in the Balkans. With the EU perspective, EU is trying to settle some of the internal disputes between the 6 Balkan states. So I think, again, Turkey-EU relations should not be, hostage of, the irrationalist and maximalist demands of, 1 or 2 member states. Otherwise, this is a lose-lose situation, and this is also against the general interest of the EU and Europe in general. So I hope that this is seen more clearly now, and I hope that with the positive agenda, we can solve many of the problems. For the ISMET, for example, what we propose, that we should have maybe international conference. And we propose that we can turn the hydrocarbon resources of Eastern Mediterranean into coal and steel of the European community. Because coal and steel, were the basis of the European community. They brought the countries together, and the hydrocarbon resources, if it is managed jointly by the Turkish and Greek Cypriots around the island of Cyprus, but also with the contribution and the participation of the other countries, around the region, this we can turn the Mediterranean into a lake of, welfare, cooperation and peace. Then this can also have a very positive impact on Turkish-Greek relations, but also Turkey-EU relations. And because of the Cyprus problem, for example, we have problems between the EU and NATO. The Greek Cypriots and Greeks, to some extent, they are blocking Turkey's membership to European Defence Agency, or to have a security agreement with the EU. So, in return, of course, Turkey is blocking Greek Cypriot access to NATO meetings or NATO decisions. So this is a lose-lose situation, and we hope that when we solve all these problems, I think it will be a big win case.
Deputy Foreign Minister, thank you very much.
Thank you.